Alright, so we're supposed to graph the solution set of this inequality on a number line. So I don't know how to solve a quadratic inequality, but I do know how to solve a quadratic equation. So if I pretend this is an equation, maybe it'll be easier to solve. Alright, so we're going to add 6 to both sides. Because it's quadratic, we need it to be equal to 0. X squared minus 5x plus 6 equals 0. Now we're going to factor, so that will become x minus 2 and x minus 3 equals 0. Alrighty. So either x is equal to 2, because 2 minus 2 is 0, times that is 0, or x is equal to 3, because 3 minus 3 is 0, 0 times this is 0. So these are the two possible answers to that equation, to the equation that we solved. But this is not an equation, this is an inequality. So let me erase this, and we'll try and figure out how to graph this. Alright? These points are actually critical values. They're referred to as critical values. So the values where things range here that we're going to use. Since we have a equal to symbol, both of these numbers are actually going to have a closed circle. Alright. And then it's actually going to be one of two things. It's either going to be an AND inequality, like this, where it's between the two of them, or an OR inequality, where it says it's not between two of them. Those are the only two possibilities that can occur in a quadratic inequality. Either the solution set of values that make it true are located in between, or sorry about that. I keep pushing that button by accident. So they're either going to be located in between or not in between. Alright, so how to check? Well, we pick a number that's easy to use and see if it satisfies the inequality. So I would recommend you always use 0 unless 0 is one of the critical values. So let's plug in 0 into that inequality. 0 squared minus 5 times 0 is greater than or equal to negative 6. So 0 is greater than or equal to negative 6. That's true. And because that's true, 0, which is located over here, is in the solution set of this inequality. That means that this is our solution set, here and here. Now, if we make a very small change to this problem, that'll become this part, not the other one. So I'm going to make a very small change, just to make it more clear. Let's erase that, and that. And here's the small change I'm going to make. I'm going to reverse the inequality. So, if we had, make that more obvious that this is a equality. Okay, so if this is x squared minus 5x is less than or equal to negative 6, let's try plugging in 0 and see what happens. 0 squared minus 5 times 0 is less than or equal to negative 6. This says that 0 is less than or equal to negative 6. And since 0 is over here, and it's not in the solution set, the solution set should be located in the center. Alright? So because this is untrue, where 0 is over here, it must be in between. In the other case, when we did it before, this faced the opposite direction. This was true. Therefore, 0 is in the solution set, which means the outer portions of this number line are a solution set. Alright. A better explanation is doable. We'll try it. It'll actually come up more clearly in a later on section. So let's do that now. Let me erase this. Okay, so looking at this, we know our number line is going to look something like this. The first part of the video is actually all you need for really understand or to do this. So we expect our solution set to look like this. And that's 2 and that's 3. That's just to have something to look at. So I'm going to change this slightly. I'm going to make this a plus 6 is greater than or equal to. So this is after I move it to the other side, 0. But instead of 0, I'm going to use y, so it's now something we can graph. Okay, so on a graph, the roots of this are negative 2, or 2 and 3, so that's here and here. If we look at the graph of this parabola, it looks something like this. And because y is less than the parabola, the shaded region of this inequality is located over here, below the parabola. Which, if you notice, is every value except in between these two values. Whereas if this was facing the other way, the shading would actually be specifically in between the two values. So that's why this works. But we're not going to really discuss graphing a two-variable quadratic yet, so we'll talk about that later. But this is why this works. This number line corresponds to the x-axis here. Alright, so it's not like it's just some made-up thing. Nothing in mathematics is just made up, except for the original axioms, like 0 is greater than 1. That is made up by human beings, so that all mathematics works. Thank you.